Close your eyes. Let the noise of the modern world fade away, layer by layer, until there is nothing left but the rhythm of your own breathing. Let the tension in your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Take a deep, slow breath in, filling your lungs with cool, calming air, and let it out slowly, releasing the day. Tonight, we are traveling back to a moment of absolute glory, a moment frozen in amber. The year is 1997. We are in the Windy City, Chicago. The air here smells of victory, of spilled champagne, and the sweet, heavy scent of cigar smoke. The Bulls have just won their 5th championship. Michael Jordan is not just a player. He is a god walking among men. The city is painted in red and black. The streets are alive with celebration. The world believes this dynasty will last forever. But you know the truth. You are sitting in the owner's office at the United Center. It is a large, quiet sanctuary, high above the noise of the streets. The walls are lined with dark mahogany, and the carpet is thick and soft beneath your feet. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, you can see the sprawling skyline of Chicago and the vast, blue expanse of Lake Michigan, shimmering under the summer sun. You are the new owner of the Chicago Bulls, but you are more than that. You are a traveler from the future, possessing the heavy, golden gift of memory. You know the decades to come. You know that this golden sun is about to set. You know that the team is aging, that the joints are stiffening, that the hunger is fading. You know that if you do nothing, if you simply ride the wave of nostalgia, this dynasty turns to dust within a year. So you have made a decision that, to anyone else, looks like madness. But to you, it looks like the beginning of something eternal. On your desk, resting on the polished wood, lies a single sheet of paper. It is the team roster. You pick up a red pen. The weight of it feels significant in your hand. Sitting across from you is Jerry Krause, the general manager. He looks nervous. He is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. He senses the shift in the air. He hands you the list, expecting a standard review. You look at the names: Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. Legends, heroes, but you do not see their past glory. You see their future decline. With a calm, steady hand, you begin to draw red circles. You circle Jordan. You circle Pippen. You circle Rodman. One by one, you mark the gods for departure. The only name that remains untouched, standing alone in a sea of red ink, is a reserve guard named Steve Kerr. You slide the paper back across the desk. The sound of the paper moving against the wood is the only noise in the room. Krause looks at it. His eyes widen. His hands begin to tremble. He looks up at you, his face pale. "Sir," he whispers, his voice shaking with disbelief. "Scottie Pippen is the second best player in the world. He is on a bargain contract. And Michael, you want to trade Michael? This is suicide. The city will burn this building down. They will never forgive you." You lean back in your leather chair. The leather creaks softly. You do not raise your voice. You do not argue. You simply look at him with the calm, deep eyes of someone who has already read the history books. You feel a sense of absolute certainty, a grounding force in your chest. "Jerry," you say softly, your voice echoing slightly in the large room. "I am not here to manage the decline. I am here to build the next mountain." Krause shakes his head, standing up. He cannot comprehend your vision. To him, You are an amateur destroying a masterpiece. I cannot do this, he says. If you proceed, I resign. A gentle smile touches your lips. This is not a setback. It is a necessary step. It is the clearing of brush before a new forest can grow. I accept your resignation, Jerry, you say. I wish you well. You watch him leave the room. The heavy door clicks shut. The silence returns, deeper than before. You are alone now. The old guard is gone. The path is clear. You press a button on your intercom. Zhao, come in. Your assistant enters. Zhao is young, sharp, and loyal. He represents the new energy you are bringing. You hand him the list. You are the vice general manager now, you tell him. Put them all on the block. Pippin, Rodman, Longley, everyone. And Michael? Zhao asks, his voice hushed with reverence. I will handle Michael myself, you reply. You pick up your fountain pen again. On a fresh, crisp notepad, you begin to write. You are not just writing names. You are casting a spell. You write down the names of the future, the names that only you understand. Kobe Bryant. You picture the teenager with the afro in Los Angeles, sitting on a bench, full of untapped rage and potential. Tim Duncan. You see the quiet giant from Wake Forest, swimming in the ocean, unaware that he is about to become the cornerstone of a new empire. Tracy McGrady. The sleeping dragon with sleepy eyes and explosive talent. And Wallace. The warrior no one wants, working out in obscurity. Steve Nash, the magician who hasn't learned his tricks yet. You look at the list. To the world, they are unproven kids. To you, they are the Avengers. You tear the page off the notepad and hand it to Zhao. Find me these players, you command gently. Use everyone, we have to get them. I want the Spurs draft pick. I want the Lakers teenager. Do whatever it takes. The next morning, the scene shifts. The air is different here. You are in the penthouse suite of the finest hotel in Chicago. The room is spacious, filled with the scent of fresh lily and expensive dark roasted coffee. The morning light streams in through sheer curtains, bathing everything in a soft, white glow. Outside, the city is waking up, unaware that its heart is about to be transplanted. You are waiting for him. And then he arrives, Michael Jordan. He walks in with the stride of a man who owns the world. He is wearing a custom-tailored suit that fits him like armor. An unlit cigar rests in his hand. His presence fills the room, a magnetic field of charisma and intimidation. He sits across from you. He does not look happy. He looks like a storm held in check. I heard you want to trade me, Jordan says. His voice is deep, dangerous, like rumbling thunder. You want to trade the man who just gave you a fifth ring. Are you crazy? You pour him a cup of coffee. The steam rises, curling into the air. You remain perfectly calm. Your heart rate does not spike. Why should it? You know how this conversation ends. Michael, you say, placing the cup before him. I am not trading you because I don't respect you. I am trading you because you are the only asset valuable enough to buy the future. He scoffs, a sharp, dismissive sound. Who is worth me? Shaq? Grant Hill? Iverson? No, you answer, meeting his gaze. A kid named Kobe, and a draft pick that will become a kid named Tim Duncan. Jordan laughs. It is a harsh, incredulous laugh that bounces off the walls. A rookie? You are trading the greatest of all time for a rookie and a bench warmer? I am giving you a choice, Michael, you interrupt gently, sliding a contract across the glass table. I will trade you to a contender. The Lakers. The Knicks. You choose. You can chase your sixth ring in a big market. You can be the king of Los Angeles. You tap the paper with your finger. And in return, I am giving you 5% ownership of the Chicago Bulls. Permanent equity. Silence falls over the room. It is heavy and thick. Jordan stops laughing. He looks at the paper. He is a businessman as much as a player. He knows that 5% of the Bulls is a fortune. He knows that no player has ever owned the team they played for. He looks at you with new eyes. He realizes you are not a fool. You are a gambler playing for the highest stakes imaginable. You are betting against me, Jordan whispers, his competitive fire igniting. You think you can build a team of kids that can beat me? I do, you reply. In fact, let's make it interesting. You lean forward, locking eyes with the legend. If you win the title next year with your new team, I will give you another 30% of my shares. But if my team beats you, or if you fail, you point to the rings on his fingers. The gold glitters in the sunlight. I want those rings. It is a challenge. And Michael Jordan cannot resist a challenge. It is the fuel that has driven him his entire life. He picks up the pen. The scratching sound echoes in the quiet room, louder than a shout. Scritch, scratch. Deal, he says. Send me to Los Angeles. I want to play with Shaq, and when I come back to this building, I'm going to drop 60 points on your rookies. He stands up, shakes your hand with a grip like iron, and walks out. You watch him go. You have just traded the greatest player of all time. Most people would be terrified. They would be hyperventilating. But you feel a profound sense of relief. You feel the pieces of the timeline snapping into place. You return to your villa by Lake Michigan as the afternoon wears on. The house is quiet, a stark contrast to the chaos you have just unleashed. A fire crackles in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. You sit in your favorite armchair, sinking into the soft velvet. You close your eyes, visualizing the chessboard of the NBA. You think of Kobe Bryant, currently in Los Angeles, shooting air balls in the playoffs, hungry for redemption, unaware that his plane ticket to Chicago is being booked. You think of Ben Wallace, undrafted, unwanted, sitting in a dark room, wondering if his dream is over. You are about to be his savior. Your phone rings. It is Zhao. Is the paperwork ready? You ask. Yes, boss, Zhao replies, his voice tinny through the receiver. The Lakers have agreed. They get Jordan. We get Kobe in cash. The Spurs have agreed. They get our veterans. We get their first-round pick. Good, you say. Execute it. You hang up the phone. Outside your window, the sky begins to darken. A summer thunderstorm is rolling in over the lake. You can hear the distant rumble of thunder, low and guttural. The wind begins to howl, shaking the trees in your garden. Rain starts to lash against the glass, a rhythmic drumming that sounds like applause. It is a fitting backdrop. Tomorrow, the city will wake up to the news. They will call you a villain. They will say you destroyed a dynasty. They will riot outside the arena. But as you drift off to sleep, lulled by the sound of the rain and the thunder, you sleep the sleep of the just. You possess a peace that surpasses understanding, because you know something they don't. You haven't destroyed the dynasty. You have just ensured it will live forever, Sleep now. The pieces are set. The game has begun. The morning sun breaks through the heavy gray clouds over Lake Michigan. The storm has passed, leaving the air washed clean and smelling of wet earth and ozone. You open your eyes. You feel rested. You feel the deep, steady pulse of a man who knows exactly what the day will bring. You pour yourself a cup of coffee, the ceramic warm in your hands, and walk to the window. Outside, the world is waking up to a different kind of storm. The news is broken. The headline is on every television screen, every radio station, every newspaper in the world: the end of the empire. Jordan traded. You drive to the United Center. As you approach, you see them. The people. Thousands of them. They are gathered in the plaza, a sea of red jerseys. They are angry. They are hurt. They feel abandoned. You can hear their chants through the thick glass of your car window. A dull roar like a distant ocean. They are burning jerseys. They are throwing stones at the bronze statue of Michael. Most owners would hide. They would call the police. They would panic. But you watch them with a strange sense of compassion. You understand their pain. They are mourning the past. They do not yet see the future. You drive through the underground entrance, insulated by the heavy concrete walls of the arena. You are safe. You are the eye of the hurricane. You reach your office. The phone is ringing off the hook. You simply unplug it. The silence returns. The door opens. It is not your assistant. It is a tall man with broad shoulders and a white beard. The Zen master, Phil Jackson. He does not yell. He walks in with a slow, deliberate gait. He looks at you, his eyes analyzing you like a puzzle he cannot quite solve. "I heard the news," Phil says. His voice is calm, but there is an edge to it. You traded Michael. You traded Scotty. You are dismantling the temple, brick by brick. You sit behind your desk, your hands folded. "I am not destroying the temple, Phil," you reply softly. "I am clearing the ground for a new one. You cannot win without Michael," he says. "The triangle offense needs a master. The triangle belongs to the 90s, you tell them. The new millennium is coming. The game is changing. It will be faster. It will be about space and length and youth." Phil sighs. He looks at the championship banners hanging in the practice facility, visible through your window. He knows his time here is done. He knows he cannot coach a nursery. "I will not be part of a rebuild," he says. "I know," you answer. "Go to Los Angeles, Phil. They need you. Michael is there. Shaq is there. Go win your rings." He nods, a silent acknowledgement of the inevitable. He turns and leaves. The last pillar of the old dynasty has fallen. The room feels lighter. The air is thinner, easier to breathe. Now the real work begins. Over the next few days, you operate with the precision of a surgeon. Your assistant, Zhao, brings you the contracts. You sign them one by one. Scottie Pippen is sent to Milwaukee for a young Ray Allen. It hurts the fans, but you see Ray's future, the perfect jump shot, the movement, the grace. You trade Dennis Rodman to Portland for a young Rasheed Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal. You are trading fading stars for rising suns. Then comes the night of the draft lottery. Usually, this is a night of anxiety. General managers sweat in their suits, praying for a ping-pong ball to bounce their way. But you sit in your private viewing room, sipping sparkling water, completely relaxed. You have already made the trade with San Antonio. You have their pick. You watch the television screen. The balls bounce in the air chamber. Click, click, click. The world holds its breath. The Boston Celtics expect the number 1 pick. The Grizzlies expect it. But when the envelope is opened, the commissioner announces the winner, the San Antonio Spurs. The world gasps. But then, a second announcement follows. The rights to the number 1 overall pick have been traded to the Chicago Bulls. You smile. You can almost feel the collective shockwave traveling across the basketball world. In San Antonio, a coach named Greg Popovich is staring at a wall, realizing he has lost the greatest power forward in history before he ever coached him. In Chicago, the anger of the fans pauses. They are confused. They just got the number 1 pick. Hope, fragile and green, begins to sprout in the ashes of their rage. June 25th, New York City, Madison Square Garden. The arena is buzzing with electricity. You are sitting in the war room, connected by phone to the draft table. You are about to assemble the Avengers. David Stern walks to the podium. With the first pick in the 1997 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Tim Duncan from Wake Forest University. On the screen, you see him, Tim Duncan. He walks across the stage. He is calm. His face is unreadable. He shakes Stern's hand. He is the anchor. He is the stone upon which you will build your church. Minutes later, the 9th pick. You possess this one too, thanks to your maneuvering. The Chicago Bulls select Tracy McGrady. A teenager in an oversized suit walks up. He looks sleepy, almost bored. But you know better. You know that inside that lanky frame lies the most explosive scoring talent of his generation. You see the 13 points in 35 seconds. You see the unguardable jump shot. The night continues. You make calls. You pull strings. You acquire a second-round pick to grab a player no one else wants. Ben Wallace. Undrafted. Unwanted. But you see the fire in his eyes. You see the defensive player of the year. By the time the draft ends, you have them all. Kobe Bryant is flying in from Los Angeles. Tim Duncan. Tracy McGrady. Ben Wallace. Ray Allen. Steve Nash. It is a collection of talents so absurd, so futuristic, that no analyst in 1997 can comprehend it. They call it a kindergarten. They say you will win 10 games. You just laugh. The scene shifts. It is 2 days later. You are back in Chicago. You have invited your new core to a private dinner. Imagine a long table in a dimly lit, exclusive steakhouse. The walls are brick, the atmosphere intimate. They walk in, one by one. Kobe Bryant, 19 years old, wearing sunglasses indoors, radiating an intense, almost uncomfortable hunger. Tim Duncan, wearing a flannel shirt, looking around with quiet curiosity. Tracy McGrady, relaxed, smiling, unaware of his own ceiling. Ben Wallace, quiet, intense, looking like he is ready to run through a wall for you. You sit at the head of the table. You look at them. To the world, they are children. To you, they are gods in waiting. Gentlemen, you say, your voice low, commanding the room. Look around this table. They look at each other. They see rivals. They see strangers. The world thinks we gave up, you tell them. They think because Michael is gone, the Bulls are dead. You pause. You pour a glass of wine. They are wrong. I didn't bring you here to rebuild. I brought you here to conquer. You look at Kobe. They say you are a selfish kid from high school. I say you are the heir to the throne. You look at Duncan. They say you are boring. I say you are the foundation. You look at T-Mac. They say you are lazy. I say you are a sleeping dragon. You look at Ben. They say you don't belong in the league. I say you are the shield that will break them. Tonight you are rookies, you whisper. But tomorrow we start building a dynasty that will make the 90s look like a warm-up. You raise your glass. To the future. They raise their glasses. The clink of crystal rings out in the quiet room. You see a spark in their eyes. The fear is gone. The doubt is gone. Replaced by belief. You have planted the seeds in fertile soil. The storm outside has stopped. The city is quiet, sleeping, unaware that a new monster has just been born in its heart. You lean back in your chair. The heavy lifting of the off-season is done. Now, the real game begins. The training camp, the preseason, and the arrival of a secret weapon from the east that no one sees coming. Let the image of these young legends fade gently from your mind. They are safe. The team is yours. Everything is proceeding exactly as you have foreseen. Drift deeper into the relaxation of a plan perfectly executed. The calendar turns to July. The heat of the Chicago summer settles over the city, heavy and humid. But you are not in the city center. You have moved your operations north, to the quiet, tree-lined campus of Northwestern University. Since the United Center is undergoing a massive renovation, a reconstruction you ordered to erase the ghosts of the past, this university gym has become your fortress of solitude. It is a place of secrets, a laboratory where you will engineer the future of basketball. Imagine walking into the gym early in the morning. The air is cool and smells faintly of floor wax and old leather. The morning light streams through the high windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. It is quiet, peaceful, but soon it will be filled with the sounds of greatness in the making. You stand at the center court, your hands in your pockets, waiting. And then they arrive. The roster you built from the ashes of the old dynasty. You see them walking in, one by one. There is Steve Nash, his hair long and messy, looking more like a soccer player than a point guard. There is Ray Allen, moving with a smooth, feline grace, his jump shot already a work of mechanical perfection. There is Rasheed Wallace, loud and energetic, his voice echoing off the rafters. And Jermaine O'Neal, young and raw, a bundle of untapped potential. They join the core four you met at dinner: Kobe, Duncan, McGrady, and Ben Wallace. 10 men, the future of the league standing in a semicircle around you. They look at each other. They see youth. They see inexperience. But you look at them with your special sight, the sight of a traveler from the future. You do not see rookies. You see Hall of Famers. You see MVPs. You see the Defensive Player of the Year. You see the greatest shooter of his generation. Welcome, you say, your voice calm and echoing in the vast space. To the rest of the world, you are a gamble. To me, you are a certainty. You divide them into teams, a scrimmage. You want to see the chemistry. You want to see the sparks fly. You take the whistle. You are not just the owner today. You are the architect testing the foundation. Red team: Nash, Kobe, McGrady, Duncan, Ben Wallace. Blue team: Kerr, Ray Allen, Curry, Rasheed, Jermaine. The whistle blows. The game begins. It is not a chaotic pickup game. It is a ballet. Watch closely. See how Tim Duncan moves. He is not flashy. He catches the ball on the low block. He feels the defender behind him. A simple drop step. A small jump hook. The ball kisses the glass at a perfect 45-degree angle and drops through the net. Softly. It is boring to the untrained eye, but to you, it is the most beautiful thing in the world. It is the reliability of a Swiss watch. See Steve Nash. He dribbles through traffic, head up, hair flying. He sees angles that don't exist yet. A no-look pass whizzes past Rashid's ear and lands in Kobe's hands. Kobe does not hesitate. He is 19, and he has something to prove. He attacks the rim with a ferocity that silences the gym. He rises, twists in the air, and slams the ball down. The rim shudders. But on the very next play, Ray Allen answers. He runs off a screen, catches the ball, and releases it in a fraction of a second. The net snaps. Swish. The sound of perfection. And then there is Ben Wallace. He doesn't touch the ball on offense. He doesn't need to. On defense, he is a monster. When Jermaine O'Neal tries to dunk, Ben meets him at the summit. Hand against ball. Strength against strength. Ben wins. He swats the ball away with a roar that shakes the floorboards. You stand on the sideline, a smile playing on your lips. You can see the training buffs. You have applied your secret knowledge of sports science and nutrition taking effect. You see Tracy McGrady moving without pain, his back strong and fluid, freed from the limitations that would have haunted him in another timeline. You see Ben Wallace's muscles growing denser by the day. You see Kobe's shot mechanics aligning with mathematical precision. The scrimmage ends. The players are breathing hard, sweat dripping onto the floor. There is tension. Ray Allen wants to start. Kobe wants to start. Rashid wants the ball more. You step onto the court. The noise stops. This is not about who starts, you tell them gently. This is about who finishes. We are not building a team of 5. We are building a machine of 12. You will all eat. You will all shine. Your authority settles the room. They believe you because you have given them everything. The best facility, the best food, the best future. But you have one more surprise for them. A few days later, a car pulls up to the gym. You walk out to meet it. Stepping out of the vehicle is a giant. He stands 7 feet 1 inch tall. He is wearing a military-style jacket, looking polite and slightly out of place. He is your secret weapon. The unicorn from the east, Wang Zhizhi. In the original timeline, he came too late. He was misunderstood. But in this timeline, you have brought him here at the peak of his youth, aged 20. You lead him into the gym. The American players stop shooting. They look up. They see a tall, slender man from China. Rashid Wallace smirks. He sees a skinny frame. He thinks lunch meat. Gentlemen, you announce. This is Big Z. He is joining the family. You see the doubt in their eyes. Show them, you whisper to Wang. You set up a drill. 3-on-3. Kobe passes the ball to Wang at the top of the key. Rashid steps back, daring him to shoot, expecting the brick. Wang catches the ball. His motion is fluid, like water. He doesn't drive. He doesn't post up. He rises. He lifts one leg, the golden rooster, creating unguardable separation. He leans back. It is a shot that the NBA has never seen from a 7-footer. It is the shot of Dirk Nowitzki, but years before the world knows Dirk's name. The ball arcs high into the rafters. It falls. Swish. Nothing but net. Silence. Rashid blinks. Kobe's jaw drops slightly. Wang smiles, shy and humble. "Lucky shot," he says in broken English. But then he does it again. And again. From the corner. From the logo. He is a sniper in a giant's body. You watch from the balcony, sipping your water. You have assembled the ultimate puzzle. You have the anchor, Duncan, the scorer, Kobe, the talent, Tamak, the shield, Ben, the engine, Nash, and now the spacer, the secret weapon, Wang. The pieces are moving together. The chemistry is bubbling. The Summer League in Orlando is approaching. The world thinks you are sending a team of children to be slaughtered. But you know better. You are sending a pack of wolves disguised as sheep. You walk back to your office as the sun sets, casting long shadows across the campus. You pick up the phone. You dial the number for the ESPN broadcasting team. "Hello," you say. "I want to hire Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller to commentate our Summer League games." The voice on the other end is confused. "Sir, for Summer League?" "Yes," you reply, your voice smooth and confident. "Pay them whatever they want. I want the whole world to watch." You hang up. Let them laugh. Let Barkley make his jokes. Let them doubt. Because when the curtain rises in Orlando, ... the laughter is going to stop. Relax now. The weapon is loaded. The team is ready. Drift into the quiet confidence of a man who holds all the aces. The scene shifts south. You leave the cool breeze of Lake Michigan for the thick tropical heat of Orlando, Florida. It is July, the Summer League. Usually, this is a place for desperate players fighting for a contract, a place of sloppy basketball and empty seats. But this year, because of you, it is the center of the sporting universe. You walk into the arena. It is smaller than the United Center, more intimate. The air conditioning hums, fighting the Florida sun. You take your seat in the front row, right at midcourt. You are wearing sunglasses, a quiet observer in a chaotic world. Up in the broadcast booth, you see them. Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller. You paid a fortune to get them here, and they are earning every penny. You can hear Charles's voice booming over the speakers, filling the gym with his trademark bravado. "I tell you, Reggie," Barkley says, laughing, "this is a mistake. You don't trade Michael Jordan for a bunch of kids. If this Tim Duncan kid gets 40 points and 20 rebounds tonight, I will kiss a donkey at center court on opening night." The crowd laughs. The media laughs. They think you are the punchline. You just cross your legs and smile. You know that Charles Barkley is about to lose a bet. The whistle blows. The game begins. Chicago Bulls versus the Toronto Raptors. On the other side is Marcus Camby, a talented, athletic big man. He looks strong. He looks confident. Then, Tim Duncan steps into the circle. He doesn't look angry. He doesn't look excited. He looks ... inevitable. The tip-off. Duncan wins it easily. The ball finds Steve Nash. Nash pushes the tempo, his hair flying behind him like a comet's tail. He finds Duncan on the low block. Watch the movement. It is slow, deliberate, and perfect. Duncan catches the ball. He feels Camby leaning on him. He spins. Drop step. He releases the ball off the glass. Kiss. The ball drops through the net. 2 points. It happens again and again. While other rookies are trying to dunk or throw fancy passes, Duncan is dismantling the Raptors with surgical precision. A jump hook, swish. A 15-foot bank shot, swish. He is not playing against Marcus Camby. He is playing against history. Then comes the moment that silences the laughter in the booth. Camby tries to shoot a fadeaway. He thinks he has space. But Duncan doesn't just block the shot. He anticipates it. He rises, his long arm extending like the branch of an ancient oak tree. He doesn't swat the ball into the stands. That is for show. He catches the ball in mid-air. A grab block. He lands softly, turns, and outlets the ball to Nash before Camby even hits the ground. The arena goes silent. You look up at the broadcast booth. Charles Barkley has stopped talking. His mouth is slightly open. Reggie Miller is shaking his head in disbelief. You feel a warm, golden sense of satisfaction spreading through your chest. It is the feeling of being right when the whole world said you were wrong. The game becomes a blur of dominance. Jermaine O'Neal, raw and explosive, feeds off Duncan's gravity, dunking with a ferocity that shakes the stanchion. Steve Nash is seeing passing lanes that no one else sees, threading the needle like a magician. By halftime, the stats are absurd. Duncan has 39 points and 21 rebounds. He has already won Barkley's bet. In the second half, you tell the coach to sit him. He has done enough. He has proven the point. You walk out of the arena into the humid Orlando night. The air feels heavy, but your spirit is light. The media scrum is waiting, desperate for a quote, desperate to ask you how you knew. You ignore them. You get into your car. You take out your phone and call your assistant, Zhao. Did you see? You ask. Yes, boss, Zhao says, his voice trembling with excitement. The phone lines are blowing up. Season ticket sales just tripled in the last hour. Good, you say. But we aren't done. You return to your hotel room. It is cool and quiet. You open your laptop. You are not just building a team for the paint. You are building a team for the perimeter. You need a lock. A defender who can haunt the nightmares of the opposing scorers. You pull up a file on a player no one is looking at. Bruce Bowen. He is 26 years old. He has been cut, rejected, and ignored. But you see his grit. You see a man who will do anything to stay in the league. Sign him, you whisper to yourself. Then you open another file. A scout's report from Europe. It contains a grainy video of a young Argentine player, Manu Ginobili. He is 20 years old. He has a nose that has been broken a few times and a style that defies logic. He throws passes between defenders' legs. He drives to the basket with a slithering Euro-step motion that the NBA has never seen. In the original timeline, he wouldn't arrive for years. But you are impatient. You pick up the phone again. Zhao, you say, get me a plane ticket to Italy. We have one more piece to find. You close the laptop. You lie back on the bed, listening to the hum of the air conditioner. You think about Charles Barkley kissing a donkey. You think about the look on Marcus Camby's face. You think about the dynasty that is taking shape, piece by perfect piece. The foundation is set with Duncan. The engine is revving with Nash. The firepower is loading with Kobe and Tamak. And now, you are bringing in the wild cards. The world thought you were crazy to trade the god of basketball. But tonight, Under the Florida stars, you know the truth. You didn't trade God. You just hired a new pantheon. Sleep now. The game is won. The future is secure. Drift into the deep, dreamless sleep of the victorious. The summer days in Chicago begin to shorten. The humid heat gives way to the crisp, cool breeze of early autumn. The leaves on the trees surrounding the practice facility turn from deep green to vibrant shades of gold and crimson. Inside the gym, the atmosphere is changing too. It is no longer just a group of talented individuals. It is becoming a brotherhood. You are sitting on the balcony overlooking the court. Beside you sits a film crew from the East. They have traveled thousands of miles to document this moment. They are here to see him. Wang Zhizhi. Down on the court, a practice game is underway. The skepticism from the American players is faded, replaced by a quiet curiosity. They have never seen anything like him. Watch the play unfold. Kobe Bryant drives into the lane. The defense collapses on him. In the old days, a center would be clogging the paint. But Wang is not in the paint. He has drifted out to the three-point line, standing at the top of the key like a lighthouse. Kobe sees him. He whips a pass back out. Rasheed Wallace, guarding Wang, hesitates. He is used to wrestling in the mud with other giants. He doesn't want to go out there. He thinks, let him shoot. Wang catches the ball. He does not bring it down. He keeps it high. His form is pure liquid. He rises. His left hand guides the ball. The release point is so high that it seems to touch the rafters. Swish. The net snaps. The sound echoes in the silent gym. Rasheed shakes his head. Luck, he mutters. But then it happens again. The next possession, Wang catches the ball in the post. He doesn't try to back Rasheed down with brute force. He feels the pressure. He spins. He lifts one leg the golden rooster. He leans back, creating 2 feet of separation that no defender in the world can close. The ball arcs through the air, ideally soft. Swish. You lean over the railing. You see Kobe walking back on defense. He is smiling. He shakes his head, looking at Wang with genuine respect. The guy is a cheat code. Kobe whispers to Steve Nash. You smile too. You know that in a few years, a German named Dirk will make this shot famous. But in this timeline, the world will see it first in Chicago. Later that afternoon, the practice ends. The gym clears out, leaving only the rhythmic sound of a few bouncing balls. You sit down for an interview with a visiting journalist. The lights are bright, but you are comfortable. He asks you about the risk, about bringing a player from the East to the physical, bruising world of the NBA. Aren't you worried? He asks. Aren't you worried he won't fit in? You look into the camera lens. You speak not with arrogance, but with the calm certainty of a historian. Basketball is a language, you say softly. It doesn't care where you are from. It only cares if the ball goes in. You pause, letting the weight of the words settle. I am not just building a team for Chicago. I am building a team for the world. When they see him play, when they see the grace, the prejudice will disappear. It will be replaced by applause. The interview ends. The lights dim. You walk out of the facility into the cool evening air. You check your phone. Your assistant Shao has sent you the final roster update. Manu Ginobili has signed the contract. He is on a plane from Italy right now. Bruce Bowen has signed. He is already studying defensive tapes, preparing to lock down the league's best scorers. The puzzle is complete. You have the power, Duncan. The skill, Kobe and Tomac. The speed, Nash. The defense, Ben and Bruce. And the range, Wang and Ray. You have old veterans like Del Curry and Steve Kerr to teach them wisdom. You have young lions to provide the energy. The preseason is approaching. The world is still skeptical. The power rankings have the Bulls at the bottom, predicting a lottery season. They see a roster of children and cast-offs. You see a sleeping giant that is about to wake up. You get into your car and drive home along Lakeshore Drive. The city lights of Chicago reflect off the dark water. You think about the opening night. The schedule has been released. The basketball gods, or perhaps just the schedule makers, have a sense of humor. Your first game is against the Boston Celtics, the old rival. But everyone is looking forward to the matchup against the Rockets. Against Charles Barkley. You remember the bet. You remember the donkey. A chuckle escapes your lips. The board is set. The pieces are moving. You are no longer just the owner. You are the conductor of a symphony that is about to begin its first movement. You arrive home. The house is warm. You pour a glass of water and sit by the window. Let the excitement fade into a deep, steady confidence. There is nothing left to do but watch them fly. The team is ready. You are ready. The Dynasty reborn is no longer a dream. It is a reality waiting for the tip-off. Close your eyes now. Imagine the sound of the crowd chanting. Not in anger, but in anticipation. Imagine the lights going down in the arena. Imagine the feeling of absolute safety, knowing that you hold the future in your hands. The game begins tomorrow. The leaves have fallen. The wind off Lake Michigan has turned sharp and cold. It is late October. The day you have been waiting for has finally arrived. Opening night. You stand in front of the mirror in your master bedroom, adjusting your tie. You look calm, but inside there is a hum of anticipation. Tonight, the world stops guessing and starts witnessing. You drive to the arena. It is no longer a construction site. The renovations are complete. As you approach, the building glows against the night sky, a beacon of modern architecture. You didn't just paint the walls. You reinvented the experience. You walk through the VIP entrance. The hallways are wider, the lighting softer. It feels less like a sports stadium and more like a temple. You take your seat. Courtside. Mid-court, the lights go down. The darkness is total. Then the music starts. Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. The legendary anthem of the Bulls. The crowd erupts. It is a sound that vibrates in your bones. But this time, the announcer does not call the name Jordan. From Lower Merion High School, Kobe Bryant. From Wake Forest, Duncan. From Mount Zion Academy, Tracy McGrady. They run onto the court. They look young, hungry, and terrifyingly athletic. Across the court stands the Houston Rockets. Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, and Charles Barkley. Barkley looks over at you. He grins. He thinks he is safe. He thinks these kids are going to be overwhelmed by the moment. The ball goes up. Tip-off. Duncan wins it. He tips it to Nash. Nash pushes the pace. 3 seconds into the season, Nash throws a lob. Kobe Bryant catches it one-handed, soaring over Clyde Drexler. Boom! The rim shakes. The crowd screams so loud it feels like the roof might lift off. The game is not a contest. It is an avalanche. The Rockets are legends, but they are old. They are playing in slow motion. Your team is playing in fast forward. Tracy McGrady hits 3 three-pointers in a row. Ben Wallace blocks Hakeem Olajuwon. The dream shake stopped by a wall of muscle. Wang Zhizhi comes off the bench and hits a skyhook that makes the crowd gasp. By the fourth quarter, the score is a blowout. The Bulls are up by 20. The crowd is chanting. Not for Michael. They are chanting Dynasty. You look at the broadcast table. Charles Barkley is not laughing anymore. He has his head in his hands. Kenny Smith, his co-host, is laughing hysterically. He is holding a rope. At the end of the rope is a donkey. The buzzer sounds. Game over. You walk onto the court. The cameras flash. You stand next to Barkley. He looks at you, then at the donkey, then at the scoreboard. "You got me, boss," Barkley says, shaking his head. "I was wrong. These kids are the truth." He leans down and kisses the donkey. The arena erupts in laughter and cheers. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. The tension of the trade, the anger of the summer, it all evaporates in that laughter. You have won the city back. Later that night, you are in the locker room. It smells of champagne and sweat. The players are celebrating, but they are not satisfied. Kobe is already watching game film. Duncan is quietly icing his knees. They know this is just one game. You walk out of the arena into the cold Chicago night. Your phone buzzes. It is a text message. It is from a number you know well. It reads, "Not bad for a rookie owner. See you in June." It is from Michael Jordan. You smile. He is watching. The Lakers are waiting in the west. You are rising in the east. The collision course is set. But for tonight, you can rest. The gamble has paid off. The foundation is solid. You get into your car. The heater hums. The city lights blur past you as you drive home. You are the architect of a new golden age. Let that thought carry you into sleep. The storm is over. The rain has begun. The season moves like a river, fast and unstoppable. Winter turns to spring. The snow melts in Chicago, replaced by the green shoots of new life. Your team grows with the season. They stop being rookies. They become a unit. Kobe learns to trust Nash. Duncan becomes the silent captain. T-Mac and Wang dazzle the league with skills that seem to come from the future. The wins pile up. 50 wins. 60 wins. The skeptics have gone silent. The experts are now calling you a genius. You sweep through the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Knicks, the Heat, the Pacers, they all fall before the youth and speed of the new Bulls. And then it is June, the NBA Finals. The script could not be written better. The opponent is the Los Angeles Lakers, led by Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan. Game 7. The United Center. The atmosphere is heavy, thick with history. Michael Jordan walks onto the court wearing purple and gold. He looks at the banners he helped raise. He looks at you sitting courtside. He nods. It is a nod of respect. A gladiator acknowledging the emperor. The game is a war. Shaq dominates the paint. Jordan hits fadeaways that defy gravity. But your team is a hydra. You stop Shaq with Ben Wallace. You answer Jordan's scoring with Kobe and T-Mac. You control the tempo with Duncan. The final minute. The score is tied. Jordan has the ball. The world expects him to shoot. He drives. He rises. But this time, there is a shadow waiting for him. Tim Duncan, the quiet giant. Duncan doesn't foul. He goes straight up. He meets Jordan at the apex. Block. The ball is loose. Kobe Bryant grabs it. 10 seconds left. Kobe dribbles down the court. He is not passing. He is in the zone. He pulls up from the elbow. The same spot Jordan made famous. He releases the ball. The buzzer sounds while the ball is in the air. The arena holds its breath. Swish, pandemonium. Confetti falls from the rafters. Not for the old dynasty, but for the new one. You watch as Kobe leaps onto the scorer's table, arms outstretched. You watch Duncan hug Robinson. You see Michael Jordan standing at midcourt, hands on his hips, watching the celebration. He is smiling, a wry, proud smile. He knows he has passed the torch. You walk onto the court. The trophy is heavy in your hands. You look at the reflection in the gold. You see a man who took a risk. A man who saw the future and had the courage to build it. You hand the trophy to Duncan. For Chicago, you whisper. The noise of the crowd fades into a gentle hum. The scene dissolves into a soft white light. You are back in your home. It is quiet. The fire is dying down in the fireplace. The journey is complete. You have rewritten history. You have saved the team. You have created a legacy that will last forever. You sink deeper into your chair. Your body is heavy, relaxed, sinking into the mattress of time. You have done enough. You have won. There are no more trades to make, no more games to play. Just the piece of a job perfectly done. Let the images of the game fade. Let the cheers turn into the sound of the wind outside. You are safe. You are the champion. Sleep now. Deep, restful sleep. Good night.